Alright, what's up guys? So, Fact Faction has uploaded a video titled 5 Scammers and Fraudsters Who Were Exposed. Yeah, I feel like that, there are gonna be some people that, we most likely have seen before, just in some big, media, exposure and things. Cause, no, I'm saying, there's at times where there be some scams where it's some, serious, no, who was that one guy that was pretending to be a doctor? And I think, what was it like? Was he I don't know if he was assaulting people in a particular way or if he was just taking their money or both. But I'm telling you, people, look, be careful of scammers, okay? There are people left and right. That's why I trust nobody. I don't trust friends. I don't trust family. When they come to me with certain things, I'm like, nope, that sounds sketchy. I'm not fooling with it, okay? Even you can show me everything possible. I'll never forget, it was a friend of mine's that I used to go to school with, and I think they were just, I don't know if they were, I don't see them promoting it now. But yeah, it was some pyramid, type stuff, and yeah, they contacted me after I think it was after we graduated, and they was I think everything seemed okay, because this is my first time actually ever hearing of this stuff, right? Everything seemed okay, but then once they start asking for my social security number and all this, I'm like, fam, we are on Twitter. It's not like this is an official business, or we're on social media right now. This don't feel safe at all. And so yeah, that's why I was like, nah, fam, I'm okay. I'm that's something where I remember what I vividly said. I was like, nah, I think my parents or my mom or something, they're not gonna be cool with that, because I was it just and I eventually ended up telling my parents about it, and they was like, yeah, that was a pyramid scheme. You did the right thing. And then they was all oh, you shouldn't let your parents be making decisions for you. I'm like, yeah, and if it's left up to you, I'm I'll probably have been broke by now. I'm so that's why I'm I'm gonna trust. The thing is this, I'm gonna trust my parents before I trust some random people on Twitter. I'm yeah, we might went to school with each other, but I'm fam, I don't know you like that. I don't know what you got going. You could be some person just trying to take my info, and next thing you know, I feel like they're in a good spot right now. I think at one point in time, I think they was living overseas. Who knows? Maybe the stuff, it did work out and things, but no, I'm I wasn't gonna fool with it. I would rather be here chilling than be doing however they did things, because I'm saying if let's say if this stuff were to go wrong, right, and then they getting arrested, I'm fam, I'm not trying to be in that situation. So that's why I'm yeah, if I'm saying, just people do the right, the thing, the right thing when it comes to making your money and stuff. Don't end up in no compilation like this. So, but anyways, make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to Fact Faction for more videos like this. And then that being said,
nothing is quite as upsetting as finding out you've been scammed. Sure, worse
it
things
sucks.
can happen.
I've had the thing is though, is I have been, I've had my fair share of moments where I have been scammed. No, I forgot, and then it was just hearing that opening part. Yeah, I've been scammed before, I had to say with video games, for an example. There's been games that I bought where the developers just gave up on them, and I'm just out of money and things, and it's and I got a broken video game. So that's another thing, especially in gaming. I'm be careful with which company you go through or which company you support when it comes to buying games. But anyways,
but it's the blatant betrayal accompanying a fraud that really makes us see red. However, justice is sweet, and today we're bringing you 5 diabolical deceivers who got their just desserts.
Oh, they're not showing that one guy. Sweetheart scammer.
Although it's become increasingly common over the 21st century, online dating still merits a little bit of caution.
Oh yeah.
Thanks to the existence.
I don't know how many online dating stories I've heard. People are all oh yeah, that's something I will never. I'm no. If there's ever a time where I get into the dating app scene and somebody's oh, can you send me $1,000? I'm no, but I can send you an application where you can get $1,000. Yeah, it's this It's this place called a job, and I'm like, I'm not going to supply you. I'm like, fam, I don't know you like that. I don't even feel comfortable doing that type of stuff. Friends, family, people that I genuinely know. So what makes you think I'm gonna send you that type of money? Look, there's no story possible, and I'm like, look, you can start a GoFundMe. You can, freaking just do whatever. I will recommend things that I'm like that you will have to do, but you're not getting that type of money out of me. I'm sorry. So.
Of those like 38-year-old Ruben Sarpong. From 2016 to 2018, he and a small group of co-conspirators fleeced over 40 women through various romance scams on several different dating sites like Match.com, Plenty of Fish, and OurTime.com. Essentially, Sarpong or one of his accomplices would claim to be United States military personnel stationed overseas. Sarpong was actually in Millville, New Jersey, while his collaborators resided in Ghana, Sarpong's country of origin. After matching with different women and establishing a romantic relationship with them, Sarpong would then begin asking his marks for large amounts of cash. He often purported to be stationed in Syria.
It's like, I don't even send people my Grand Theft Auto 5 money. I'm like, if they had that option where you could like cash at people in Grand Theft Auto, I wouldn't even do that. I'm like, nah, bruh. I'm like, even if it's like a small, they're like, oh, bruh, like, hey, Tyler, cash at me like $50 in Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, I want to get this new apartment. I'm like, we could do a mission and you could go and get that. I'm not gonna give you that because then you're gonna owe me, then you ain't gonna pay. Then I gotta blow up your cars and stuff. I'm saying, like, I can't do that.
Working with employees of the U.S. State Department, and he would pose as both real and fictional diplomats to sell his story. For example, one of his accomplices impersonated Earl Litzenberger, who at the time was a diplomat stationed in Azerbaijan. Frequently, he would claim that his unit had recovered a large number of gold bars and that money was needed to ship the bars home to the United States.
My thing is this, okay, because that's something where I'm sorry, but I'm like, I guess me just being too heavily involved in the internet and paying attention to stuff, watching videos like this, if somebody in that high figure, right, they're contacting me and they're like, hey, I need this money, to ship these gold bars back to the United States, I'd imagine that any money or anything that could be transferred into money, but it's like it's overall gonna benefit the United States, and then you being like this high figure, whatever, for the United States, I'd imagine that the United States, especially if you talking about you work for the military and crap, you don't have to have no money to get paid to like transfer this stuff over. You might not be the United States, but you work for the United States. You work for like the government, I'd imagine, in some sorts. So like, why do you need my money, especially asking for it on a dating app? Like, the thing is this, I'm not making it seem like that whoever it was that fell for these scams, like, they fell for like, or they're like on the dumb. I'm not trying to say that about them. Because no, like at times, like, if you're not heavily involved in the internet, then yeah, stuff like that may seem serious to you. But to me, I'm like, bruh, I came from an era of like internet where, you'll get messages like this. You'll get a message talking about, oh yeah, I'm Tupac Shakur. I'm in hiding. Like, can you send me $200 to get me through the week? I'm like, you're Tupac Shakur. I'm like, if what you're saying is true, fam, just go and get your music royalties and make the money off of that. Watch it actually is Tupac and things, and then he's all like, dang, like I thought I gave out a good story. I guess I just gotta keep hiding in Cuba or something. But nah, man, I just think that it's like, people, look, don't fall for stuff like this, all right?
Promised his victims that their money would be returned to them once the gold arrived stateside. Throughout his scam, Sarpong received money in 13 different bank accounts.
That's crazy.
Some of the women also sent personal checks, cashier's checks, or money orders using services like Western Union. Sarpong would then wire funds to the other members of his crime ring back in Ghana and use however much he pleased of the stolen cash to fund his lifestyle.
Wow.
He bought property in Ghana and showed off expensive cars, clothing, and jewelry on his social media sites.
That's messed
Additionally,
up.
despite receiving over $1.4 million in taxable income from his various romance scams, Sarpong paid absolutely no income tax and even collected Medicare and food stamps for part of 2018 and 2019.
Wow.
Abusing a system meant to support those struggling to make ends meet. Now, though thievery of this magnitude is certainly nefarious, Sarpong's crimes became even more detestable when a victim took her own life.
Oh, wow.
One of his conspirators struck up a romantic relationship with her, claiming that he had over $12 million worth of gold in Syria and was working with a diplomat named Alwyn Roth Liss to have the bars shipped to the U.S. After receiving a falsified airplane ticket that made it seem like Liss would be coming to the United States very soon, the woman sent the requested funds to 2 different bank accounts over a 3-week span. By the end, she had sent Sarpong a whopping $93,710. The woman's daughter notes that the last thing her mother said to her was that she was headed to Baltimore Washington International Airport to meet Liss and the gold. Obviously, the fictitious diplomat never showed up, and she tragically ended her life the next day.
Wow.
All in all, it's estimated that Sarpong stole anywhere from $1.75
I hope he got sent to
over
prison.
$2 million during the years he was active.
That's crazy. You caught somebody because it's like you don't want to go out and just get a job and work for your money. So and you scam somebody and you cause them to take their life. Nah, I really do hope that this guy got broke off some prison time.
I believe that $450,000 of that sum was funneled to his co-conspirators in Ghana, while the rest was likely,
or at least like if he hadn't got a whole lot of prison time, like I hope that he's just mentally suffering from this stuff, man. Because that's messed up.
Lifestyle. He was frequently seen on social media with luxury goods and stacks of cash. These days, Sarpong has traded his high life for a lowly cell in federal prison as he serves his 14-year sentence that comes with an additional 3 years of supervision following his release. He was ultimately charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, money laundering, and tax evasion. He's also been ordered to pay 30 of his victims roughly $3 million in restitution, fulfill his hefty tax debt to the United States Internal Revenue Service, pay over $4,000 to the New Jersey Department of Health and Human Services, and over $6,000 to the New Jersey Department of Agriculture. The payments are meant to reimburse these government agencies for the Medicare and food assistance he fraudulently received. At the time of recording, none of Sarpong's accomplices have ever been named or charged, and it does not appear that there's an ongoing case against any of them. It's easy to get caught up in love, but when you don't know the person on the other end of the computer, it's definitely best to proceed with caution.
Yeah, that's good. I wish he got more years in prison. I wish he got like more years in prison, and then just like I don't think you could get like parole for life, but like yeah, I wish he got just like all these like supervised, you know, like he's pretty much not gonna be able to ever have a normal life just because of, you know, because he caused so many other people to not have a normal life. Like so, I wish that, like something like that would have happened to him, but you know, I guess like yeah, if with his sentence and you know the payments that he has to make, I guess if that was enough to them, then I guess. The Tumblr trickster.
In the early morning hours
people getting
of
scammed on
December
Tumblr?
2014, 17-year-old Leila Alcorn was walking along Interstate 71 near South Lebanon, Ohio. Tragically, during her walk, she was struck by a tractor-trailer and died at the scene.
Dang.
It was later revealed in a post on Leila's Tumblr blog that her death was intentional, with Leila stating, "Please don't be sad. It's for the better. The life I would have lived isn't worth living." Ohio State Police conducted their own investigation as well, concluding that Leila's death was indeed self-inflicted.
Wow.
Leila, who was transgender, had many difficulties in her home life. The child of staunch Christians, her parents were not exactly accepting of her new identity, and she struggled with depression. This soon caught the eyes and hearts of many activists who saw Leila's fate as symbolic of the difficulties transgender youth face in the United States. Unfortunately, one of these advocates turned out to be a trickster in disguise. A few weeks after Leila's death in January 2015, at the height of Tumblr's popularity, another user of the platform and a follower of Leila's blog decided to capitalize on her untimely passing. A 20-year-old posting under the name Zubat set up a website and a GoFundMe page entitled The Leela
People
Project.
really be scamming on
It stated on the
GoFundMe.
website that she intended to raise money to supply transgender people in situations like Leela's with supplies to support their transition, like makeup, clothing, or binders. Accepting cash donations via GoFundMe or a PayPal link, she also called for physical donations of clothing, accessories, and toiletries, providing an address in San Bernardino, California, where they could be sent. As a side note, Zubat has gone by several names online over the years, like Non-Binary Fruitcake, Alex Miller, Alex and Alexis Urigoyen, Alex Zapatitla, Kiko,
really like that
and Ann,
Alex
to name
name.
a few. For the rest of this video, we'll refer to her as Alex. At
I
first,
like
the
it.
Leela Project seemed
Favorite
wonderful,
name.
and with Alex's large following on Tumblr, it quickly gained visibility. Many of the platform's users, themselves teens or young adults like Leela and Alex, were enthusiastic, and she managed to amass roughly $16,000 on GoFundMe alone.
That's insane.
However, by the spring, the legitimacy of both Alex and the Leela Project was called into question. Not many people were receiving the aid the charity claimed to provide, and the general feeling of skepticism deepened when it was discovered that the Leela Project was not a registered charity or nonprofit in California. Around this time, a new Tumblr blog appeared titled Exposing Alex. Run by anonymous administrators, it seemed to be dedicated to pointing out inconsistencies and flaws with both Alex and the Leela Project. They posted screenshots of conversations Alex was allegedly having with people, comments she made on her social media posts, and information from people on Tumblr who supposedly knew her in the real world.
Yeah,
She
I was about to
accused
say,
of
I was like, whoever it is that did this exposing stuff has to be somebody that she
lying
knows.
about multiple aspects of her life, including her job and her ethnicity. The
Hey,
Exposing
lying-
Alex
wow.
page provided evidence in the form of Alex's comments that showed her hinting at being a sex worker, a nurse, working at NASA, and training to be a paleontologist, all while being just barely past her teen years. However, when Alex was interviewed with the International Business Times in February 2015 about the Leela Project, she mentioned that she was a student working towards her associate degree in healthcare administration. When it came to the Leela Project, she was accused of stealing the funds for herself instead of using them for her stated
People be like that broke. I'm like, fam, all right. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys on this one. I've had my moments where I'm like, dang, what am I going to do? All right. Like, I've had that genuine thought and that idea. Guess what? I work. The thing is this. I can't get in trouble for just simply working. Like this line of work, me sit down recording videos, or even if I were to go out and, like when I was working at the cafe, I'm like, fam, I work. Stuff like this never crossed my mind. Never. Unless it's like some video game stuff where like that's the mission or that's the level, or I'm just, joking around with my friends and it's like, ain't no real harm being done. Okay, yeah, sure. But like if people across the world are being like, hurt and harmed by this, then it's like, fam, you have to sit down and think about it. How would that make you feel? People don't ever sit down and think about like, what would I do if I was in these other like people's shoes and stuff? What would I do if I had just got scammed out of thousands of dollars and things? They don't sit down and think of that. And it's gonna be so funny one day where like a scammer gets scammed, where videos like that actually do be happening, where it's like a scammer will call up somebody, then I don't know, it's either a hacker or whoever, but it's like, yeah, they slap down a Uno reverse card pretty much, and then they scam the scammer. And I'm like, no, I think more of that needs to happen. Like, honestly, I swear, man, I think that's something where I really need to just do is like figure out that stuff myself, or at least be able to start up a community where if like we like know how to like scam a scammer, then yeah, just start. But no, the thing is this, like if you know how to scam a scammer, fam, make YouTube videos out of it, okay? Like make it harder and harder each and every day for these scammers, so eventually they do just get to a point where it's like, yeah, they get one of these right here, this 3-letter word, a J and a O and a B, okay? Like that's what they need. All right, so yeah, it's crazy, man, how like people they just go above and beyond scamming, but they can't put that same amount of work into going out and getting a job and making their money. I'm saying, like, you fam, like, the thing is this, if you sat down and think about it, a scammer, because if I was somebody that was scamming, I would try to be like, okay, like, or at least if I knew how to scam. My thing is this, I would make YouTube videos out of it, or articles, or whatever. I will make money on how to teach, not overall teaching people how to scam, but just teaching people the dangers of scamming. And then, yeah, helping out scammers and people that is getting scammed, where it's like, yeah, the scammers, I'm like, okay, don't do this. Why? Because you can end up going to prison. And then the scammer, I'm like, don't fall for this. Why? Because you're going to lose out on all your money. I'm saying, like, you would think people would think along those lines, but they don't, and it's just it's weird, bruh.
But goals. Mostly, the Tumblr page painted a picture of Alex as an unreliable, pathological liar who could not be trusted. It is a bit unclear what is fact and fiction, since most of what remains available to see online currently is hearsay or only found via the Wayback Machine. Not long after Alex launched the charity, she began to complain on her Tumblr page about her bank accounts or PayPal getting hacked. Additionally, although money was coming in, it didn't appear that many packages were going out. The folks behind exposing Alex argued that the donation should have been enough to get packages to more people, even with the fees imposed by GoFundMe. At the same time, Alex pushed back, arguing that people didn't understand how much everything plus shipping cost. She also acknowledged that
it's
she
like,
wasn't
send them
a
their money
properly
back.
registered charity, but alleged that the fees to establish herself legally were too onerous. Though, as her critics correctly pointed out, the $16,000 she received should have been sufficient to cover fees that were likely less than $1,000, so the Leela project could be legitimate. Alex denied running a scam, saying that she was simply a young student who got in over her head, unable to keep up with the monetary.
So it's like you just didn't send the money back. My thing is this, like, if like, okay, so yeah, let's run with her story where it's like this stuff is too expensive, right? Send the money back. I'm saying, I'm like, my thing is this, I don't know if there's like fees, but it's like, even if there is a way, I definitely would tell people, I'm like, or at least like try to reach out to each individual that donated. I'm like, okay, hey, like, yeah, even though you donate, like, cause GoFundMe, I think the lowest you can donate or something is like $1. I'm like, yeah, even though you donated $1, I'm like, it's getting sent back. And it's like, not just gonna be written off at things. It is your money, all 100 pennies and stuff, 4 quarters, whatever, 10 dimes, all whatever you want to call it. It's like, yeah, it's still yours. So I'm like, you can't just take your money like that, even if it is $1. But I'm like, fam, from if it's that or all the way up to like 1,000, 10,000. Whatever the amount is, it's like, fam, you can send that money back, okay? Like, you don't know what these people are going through, so it's like, that. The thing is this, they hear this stuff, right? They hear these things, and then they're thinking like, okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna use my last bit of money to like help out some people across the world, and then they find out it's getting sent to a scammer. It's like, come on, bruh.
And time demands that the project required to be successful. There are also unsubstantiated claims that say she was spending a lot of cash during the spring and summer of 2015, including a lavish trip to New York City. But whether funds from the Leela project were used to support her lifestyle remains unknown. The Leela project was shuttered in the same year it began, supposedly due to lack of monetary support needed to continue. And its Tumblr page, Alex's personal Facebook and Twitter accounts, as well as the Exposing Alex page, have all been deleted. It appears that she is now working as a tattoo model in Los Angeles, California. Let us know in the comments what you think. Was she just an overwhelmed kid or a sophisticated scammer?
Yeah, it could be one or the other. Like, the thing is this, if the money got sent back, then the money got sent back. If it didn't, then, and you taking all these lavish trips, doing all this other extra stuff, then it's like, yeah, what happened to that money? What did you do with it and stuff? So, yeah, it's like, at least, like, my thing is this, if I can't do anything with that money that's being sent to me, then it's like, okay, then you use that money to donate it to, like, organizations instead of taking trips to go to New York and stuff. Then it's like, yeah, use it. My thing is this, if I'm really trying to prove my case, trust me, I am going to prove my case. If I gotta go above and beyond and do whatever it takes to show people that it's like, look, I'm not a scammer, then it's like, okay, but it's just, that's why I just encourage people. It's like, look, go out, get a job. Especially if you're like into the internet scene, there's so many jobs you could get on the internet, bruh. Like, don't be a scammer. Just it's it's 2023. Well, I don't know when. I think it's like 2014, but yeah, still, it's like in the day and age you could get a job
By all
anywhere.
appearances, Belle Gibson of Melbourne, Australia was the picture of health. With a curated and polished Instagram feed and the followers to match, Gibson was one of the early
Belle
online
Gibson. I don't know why. I just feel like she like the day of like where she's like, hey, I'm gonna be a scammer. What can my name be? She saw Mel Gibson. She's like, I got it, Belle. I'm not gonna be Mel. I'm gonna be Belle Gibson.
Influencers in the 2010s. But there was one problem. She was sick, really sick. Gibson had cancer, and not just any cancer, brain cancer.
Oh.
However, she had good news to share with her fans. While traditional treatments like chemotherapy had failed her, Gibson had managed to mitigate her devastating disease through a combination of a healthy diet, oxygen therapy, colonic irrigations, and Indian Ayurvedic medicine. She was particularly militant about her diet, telling her followers that she had cut out gluten, alcohol, processed food, dairy, and meat. She also stressed the benefits of whole foods like avocados and berries. Seemingly eager to share her groundbreaking knowledge with the world, Gibson launched her app, The Whole Pantry, in August 2013. Filled with recipes and lifestyle guides, Gibson charged around $3 per download. The app was downloaded 200,000 times during its first month, and subsequently named Apple's Best Food and Drink app of 2013. A deal with Penguin Books followed, and in October 2014, Gibson's cookbook, also named The Whole Pantry, hit the shelves in Australia. By the early months of 2015, Gibson's sales of the app and the cookbook combined had reached $1 million. Impressed by the app's performance as well as Gibson's popularity, Apple approached her in the fall of 2014 and worked with her to make The Whole Pantry a pre-installed option on their brand new Apple Watch, set to launch in the spring of 2015. Belle continued to share her medical struggles on her blog, which was also named The Whole Pantry. She revealed that although her healthy lifestyle kept her cancer from spreading, it wasn't fully eradicated. However, her health claims were starting to raise some eyebrows. Belle's story was constantly shifting. In her book, she claimed that her cancer hadn't grown in 2 years, but in interviews and social media posts, she discussed cancer spreading to her blood, spleen, uterus, kidneys, and liver. She talked about experiencing other medical scares, like a stroke, and a heart operation where she momentarily died on the operating table. However, she bore no scars from her supposed operation and could not produce any concrete evidence or even name the doctors who had treated her. Aside from her shaky health claims, Gibson was also increasingly scrutinized for her supposed charitable contributions. She often bragged that The Whole Pantry financially supported numerous causes like children with cancer or health care for mothers in developing countries. By her estimates in 2014, Gibson said that The Whole Pantry had given $300,000 to various charities. On Instagram, she proudly stated that she worked with 20 different philanthropies and donated 25% of her company's profits. But soon enough, charities Gibson had named as recipients of her generosity came forward saying that neither she nor The Whole Pantry had given them any money.
That's
in a
crazy.
week-long campaign for the Bumi Sehat Foundation that supports safe childbirth in Indonesia.
I feel like something serious like that. It's like, hey, my thing is this, you might not be all worried thinking, oh, nothing's not gonna happen to me, I'm gonna be fine. Then it's like you get caught up and then you still thinking. Thing is this though, karma always makes its way back around. I guarantee and I promise you, this girl probably still, if what they're saying is like she actually is scamming, she's gonna find herself in a situation one day where it's like she's gonna be like, why is this happening to me? And she's gonna sit down and start thinking of all this stuff that she put people through. And then it's like, oh, that's why I'm going through what I'm going through.
Gibson purportedly raised $2,800, though not a dime of that cash seems to have made it to the charity. As one spokeswoman for the foundation told the Irish Times, I can say with confidence that we never received a donation from Belle Gibson. The controversy deepened as the media caught wind of Gibson's discrepancies, and just before her cookbook was due to launch in the UK and the US, questions began surfacing about the legitimacy of her illness. As a result, she began to slowly retract her health claims. Initially saying that parts of her cancer were a misdiagnosis, she still adhered to her story of using her dietary methods to fight off a brain tumor. Yet rumors about her health continued to swirl. The media kept digging for an answer, as the public wondered if Gibson was for real or a fraud. Finally, it appeared that Gibson could handle the scrutiny no longer. In April 2015, she came clean in an interview with Australian Women's Weekly, saying, "No, none of it is true. I'm still jumping between what I think I know and what is reality. I have lived it, and I'm not really there yet."
Wow.
It was all fake. She had
That's
never had
crazy.
any kind of cancer, let alone a brain
Fam,
tumor.
it's like you can't be playing around with stuff like that. Because my thing is this. This is why I think, like karma will, well, okay, hopefully it doesn't. But it's like, hopefully it's like a lesson learned. It's like, yeah, you can't be doing stuff like that. If she don't feel no remorse for what she has done, and it's like you just sitting there running with an illness as if you actually have it. And there's people in this world that actually have it. And they could have used that money that you have. It's like, fam, if she don't feel no remorse and she's just living her life like, oh, whatever, I did that, so what? I feel like that, she'll just forget about it, right? She'll forget about it. Everybody forgets about it. And she'll meet somebody. And it's like, honestly, she'll think that it's like some like Titanic Notebook, freaking just any Romeo and Juliet love story that you possibly can think of. She has met the one. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, whoever this person is, then they get cancer. Now she actually has to sit down and see what it actually does to people rather than faking it. And it's like, fam, I'm saying, like, it's stuff like that where it's like you can't be sitting here thinking like, oh, okay, it's okay to do this stuff and then it's just get away with it. No, it's not. You ain't gonna get away with it. This is the type of stuff that'll live with a person forever. It's like, yeah, change your name, change your appearance, do all that stuff. It could possibly take maybe some heat off of you. But if not, fam, you gotta live with the fact that you did that for the rest of your life. So it's like, come on now. Is it really worth scamming? Is it really worth it scamming people? It's not, trust me.
Furthermore, it was also revealed that she was only 23. Several years younger than she had been publicly claiming. Immediately after this revelation, her app and her cookbook were both pulled, while large businesses like Apple, that had happily basked in the glow of her fame, quietly distanced themselves. People from Gibson's past came forward and said that the young woman had always had trouble with the truth, and that she was not at all trustworthy. Gibson's scam had real-life consequences for many living with chronic illnesses, particularly cancer. Kylie Willie, who suffered from lymphoma, turned her back on chemotherapy due to Gibson's flawed guidance. She and other victims felt betrayed and humiliated, wondering how someone could lie about something as devastating as cancer. Gibson now seems to have somewhat quietly faded away, with her story appearing periodically in the media. Though she hasn't been charged with any jail time, Gibson does owe over $500,000 in unpaid fines, penalties, and interest.
Wow.
Her home was raided by the police in 2020 and again in 2021 in an attempt to collect the money. It's unknown at this time if any property was seized in the raids to mitigate her balloon
It's like,
debt.
look at what you gotta go through now.
It just goes to show that a social media following and an aesthetically pleasing profile can fool anyone, from the average Joe to Apple.
It's like, bruh, my thing is this, if I'm gonna scam somebody, like, speaking for myself, like, if I'm gonna scam somebody, like, it's gonna be something stupid. Like, it's not gonna be like, okay, like, out of, like, freaking free. Like, that's what I'm literally gonna, like, scam people just free, not, like, no actual currency or money. And I'm like, oh, you have some free in your pocket? Go ahead and give it to me. Like, I'll think of something stupid. I'm like, oh yeah, it's free. They ain't got it. And then it's like, but the thing is it's like, at least my thing is this. It's like, I'm doing it to have fun. I'm doing it just to showcase, like, how stupid scamming is and stuff. But I mean, man, it's just, why? It's like, but if not that, like, it's not something where it's like, it's not gonna be like a joke where it's like, oh, we can all sit down and laugh about, then it's like, there ain't even no need of doing it. It's like, just move on with your, like I said, go get a job, work, all right? So, but anyways.
With the opioid crisis raging across the Midwestern United States, it seems unconscionable that someone in the healthcare space, especially a doctor, would contribute to the problem. Unfortunately, that is exactly what 66-year-old Dr. Francisco Patino was up to during the 2010s. Known also as Frank,
And
Patino
man, 66
operated
years
a
old
medical
looking like
clinic
that,
in
dang.
Livonia, Michigan, just outside of Detroit, and caught the eye of the Federal Bureau of Investigation when he billed Medicare for a large amount of pricey spinal injections. In fact, from 2012 to 2017,
Don't trust that.
Patino performed more of these injections than any other provider in the entire nation. These injections, which were either facet joint or nerve block injections, are incredibly expensive, and authorities were suspicious. Why would so many people in Livonia need this particular procedure? An investigation revealed that Patino was trading these lucrative injections for opioid prescriptions, including the deadly drug fentanyl.
Wow.
Many of his patients did not require this kind of medical procedure, but he would threaten to withhold prescriptions for their painkillers unless they complied with his wishes.
That's
As a
crazy.
result, from 2016 to 2017, Patino ended up prescribing more 30-milligram oxycodone pills than every other doctor in Michigan. During those 2 years alone, he prescribed 2.2 million pills, some of which have been traced to illegal drug sales on the street.
Yeah, like,
It was further revealed that
he's
Patino
a
had
drug dealer.
established an illegal relationship with at least one diagnostic laboratory. Whenever Patino had to send a patient sample like blood or urine to be analyzed, he would send it to this particular laboratory in exchange for financial kickbacks. With his gradually amassing wealth, Patino splashed cash on cars, jewelry, and travel. Relatively muscular and fit, he was seen on social media wrestling alligators and showing off his physique. He also used his
You know that
ill-gotten
alligator's
gains
dead.
to fund a venture he dubbed the Patino Diet. He developed a diet program, a lifestyle and wellness book, and even paid various mixed martial arts fighters to promote his pet project. In 2021, Patino was convicted of conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud and wire fraud, 2 counts of healthcare fraud, 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, 1 count of conspiracy to commit money laundering, and 1 count of money laundering. His $100 million scam was one of the largest healthcare scams in U.S. history, though he was certainly not alone in his crimes. In the Michigan and Ohio areas alone, 12 doctors, including Patino, were all arrested for similar crimes around the same time, for a grand total of $250 million in fraudulent billings. He is still awaiting sentencing, but the maximum penalty for his crimes is life in prison.
Wow. That's wild. Dang, I didn't realize it was that bad. So yeah, he just pretty much he just he's been working out probably since he's like 20 something. And then made it seem like, oh yeah, like I did by doing this, and then it's like, nah, you're a liar and a scammer, and it's a fraud. And dang, man, that's crazy. All that money, and it's like, it's either okay, so yeah, most likely, I mean, yeah, they'll probably like break him off some years, so probably by the time he does get out, he's gonna most likely be an old man and things, if not die in prison. But if, like, let's say, okay, he doesn't get that much time, and then he ends up getting out, it's like, fam, you have to pay, that's gonna be a lot paying that back. That's crazy. Killing for cash?
It seemed like Nomia Rosemary Ndlovu was cursed. A policewoman at the Tembisa police station in Johannesburg, South Africa, between 2012 and 2018, 6 of her friends and family members mysteriously died. Luckily for her, Nomia did get some financial compensation for her losses. First was her cousin, witness Madala Homu, who was found beaten to death in Olifantsfontein, a small town 40 minutes to the north of Johannesburg. Nomia received roughly $7,500 from insurance following witness's death. The second was her sister, Audrey, in June 2013.
Wow.
While staying with Nomia, Audrey died from a combination of poisoning and strangulation. Later that same month, another one of Nomia's relatives, this time her niece, Zanelle Motha, was found beaten to death. For the deaths of Audrey and Zanelle, Nomia received over $48,000 in payouts. A little over 2 years later, in October 2015, Nomia's partner and the father of her child, Maurice Mabasa, turned up stabbed to death, also in Olifantsfontein. She received over $7,500 as a result of policies she had taken out under his name. Tragedy struck yet again in April 2017.
Dang, she's like
with
a
the
serial
murder of her
killer.
nephew, Mayini Mashaba. He had just met up with Nomia the day before, and like Witness and Maurice, his body was also found in Oliphantfontein. The sixth person to die
Nah, these people being around, nah, I'm moving.
in Nomia's orbit would be the last. Her nephew and Audrey's son, Brilliant Mashego, was found dead in January 2018 in Bushbuck Ridge, a small town 5 hours to the east of Johannesburg. He had been seen with Nomia a mere 2 days before his body was discovered. So was Nomia and Lovu profoundly unlucky, or was something more sinister at play? Needless to say, authorities found this cluster of deaths quite suspicious, and in March 2018, it appeared that Nomia was prepared to lose more family members. She consulted with a couple of hitmen, driving them out to Bushbuck Ridge, where her sister Joyce and her 5 children lived. She wanted to hire the men to burn down Joyce's home with her and the kids inside.
That's crazy.
But what Nomia didn't realize was that she was being filmed. The 2 men were undercover officers, not hitmen.
I love hearing stories like that where it's like cause who be out here hiring hitmen? It's like, come on now. It's stuff like that where it's like, bruh, this isn't a movie or a video game, alright? Ain't no Agent 47's going around looking for work. Like, nah, bruh, chances are you talking to a cop, okay? So it's just, yeah, I think it's kind of dumb when people, and they do stuff like that, but, you know, hey, she has a reason to be in this video. I mean, I feel like she needs to be in this video. It's like crazy family members, you know, crazy serial killers. It's like, this woman, she knows she is psycho.
Men at all, and she was arrested later that same day.
Good.
Siyakuphi konje? Oh, which back fish? Ah.
That's crazy.
So
Alabanye laba nabo imali izobhadala for bona noma
ngeke badale so ngeke basale ngoba nakho bakhona and baba ngasala uyaza bawudress
yonke into engaphakathi
ngeke bayazi ukuthi ikhakhele so boyfriend extra day endlini.
It's like she sat down and actually like thought about this. This is your family. That's the crazy part about it. It's like, bro, it's like this is your family, and it's like.
Next week, next week.
It's like there should be nobody in this world that has you on this like level of thinking. Nobody. Like that's
it's
crazy.
It's estimated that Nomia snagged around $95,000 in insurance payments during her crime spree. During her trial.
Just that for killing off your family. That's.
It was also revealed.
I mean, I'm not saying like, you know, it should have been more. It shouldn't have been nothing at all. But it's like, fam, like for 95,000. I mean, it's just, yeah. That just shows that it's like there's people in this world that really, you know, they just don't care about you and stuff. And I'm like, that's It's sad. It's sad to honestly think, you know, people would go that far to do some stuff like that. There should be no price or money in this world that should, like, you know, put you in that mindset where it's like, oh, I gotta kill him. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, like, and I don't know how many times I hear stories, because it could be their life or my life, where I'm like, I'm not trying to get caught up in nothing. Okay, like I said, just do things the right way. Go out, get a job. But I've seen, like, you know, where it be those, like, most wanted people, right? And they're like, oh, this person is, like, the most wanted man in America. He's, like, you know, the bounty on his head right now is, like, at $10 million. I could use $10 million, but I'm not going to put my life in jeopardy, whether it's I'm dying or going to prison on some dumb stuff. Like, nah, bro. It's like, go out, get a job, work for your money, earn it. It feels so much better than trying to scam and, you know, taking the easy ways in and out and stuff. Like, it makes no sense.
Her own mother, Maria Mishwana, conspired with a co-worker, Nomia Mudau, to kill Mudau's husband, and even tried to put a hit out on her former boss and the officer in charge of her investigation. Nomia usually preferred to execute her murders through hitmen, but it was revealed that she did murder her sister, Audrey, herself.
Wow.
Through it all, Nomia insists that she is innocent and that all the witnesses to her crimes are lying. It is suspected that the motivation for her crimes was primarily financial.
But you're on tape, like...
And she was known at work as a heavy gambler who was frequently avoiding loan sharks. In 2021, wow. Nomia Ndlovu was sentenced to 6 life terms, one for each of the murders she orchestrated. She was also sentenced to an additional 5 years for obstruction of justice, 10 years for fraud, 10 years each for 7 counts of conspiring to commit murder, and a final 10 years for the attempted murder of her mother. In July 2022, she returned to court to face additional charges associated with her conspiracy to murder Mudau's husband, as well as her former colleague, lead investigator Keshi Mubanda, and her former boss, Colonel Thipe Balaka. The matter was postponed until September. Currently, it is unknown what the outcome of these charges are.
It's like, ma'am, stop. Just stop, okay? That's all
It's pretty clear to us from this...
Like, if I was a judge, I've been in that courtroom like, ma'am, stop, okay? Just, no, you were literally caught on camera. There ain't no arguments about that. Just stop, okay? Like, take that old fake cry somewhere else.
Bunch of crooks that, thankfully, scammers usually meet their comeuppance. Do you know of any notorious fraudsters we may have missed?
It'll probably be a part 2 made to this video.
And remember to stay safe out there. As always, thanks for watching.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. You know, there's just people out there in this world where it's like they, rather than just, you know, sitting down and working for their money, they'd rather go above and beyond the scam. And it's, as you can see, like, scamming doesn't get you anywhere in life. So, yeah, you know, you got your people out there where it's like they want to live that lifestyle, and it's like, look at where they're at now, all right? In prison, you know, serving either life sentences or just, you know, overall having to answer for this stuff, like, in the, you know, years to come and stuff. So, but it's not needed. It's like, people, just don't scam, all right? So, but anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Fact Faction for more videos like this. Like, subscribe to me too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.